Okay, good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this video. Today you're going to take some notes. You should have a couple of items. Actually, you should just have one item. No, scratch that. You should have two items on your Google Classroom. The first one is this set of guided notes. Okay, it goes along with this YouTube video that you are watching as well. And so what you need to do is open up the guided notes to begin with and stop and hit pause on the YouTube video as much as you need to be able to answer the questions in regards to the guided notes. I'll go at my pace. I'm going to read through these notes, and again, you just stop and pause whenever you don't feel like you're being caught up. The first thing that I want you to do, these are questions that you should be able to answer after doing the Chapter 6, Section 1 study guide. Okay? As we start thinking about the beginning of the American Revolution, what you read in your study guide, there are 4 or 5 questions that you probably should be able to answer, and I want you to try to answer these in complete sentences and answer a couple sentences for each one. What are going to be some of the problems that both the Americans and the British have when the war starts? What are going to be some concerns that both of them are going to have? Both of them thought it was going to be an easy war, but both of them also had some issues. Okay? What is the definition of a civil war? We obviously know about the Civil War, but some people call this a civil war as well, the American Revolution. And how do you think this could be used, this definition of a civil war could be used with the American Revolution? That kind of leads into, hint, hint, number 3 here. We talked about this on the last test that you did, the Chapter 5 test. What's a loyalist and what's a patriot? And why did each one take the position that they did during the American Revolution? Number 4, what are some reasons why the military might recruit today? And then do you think those are some of the same reasons why they would have recruited back in the American Revolution? And again, that's not a yes or no question. Please fill in why or why not. Okay? Then how might the message of the recruitment be different in peacetime as opposed to wartime? When you get done answering those questions, we'll go right into the notes. And the first thing that we're going to do here, you follow along. Your guided notes are right here as I'm scrolling through them, right there. All right, I'm going to be on this page and help show you what it is. And we'll start with a small little video after it loads.
The regulars are out! Sound the alarm! The regulars are out! Hundreds of them! They're headed for the stores in Concord! The regulars are on the road tonight! The regulars are out! Sound the alarm! The regulars are out! Hundreds of them! They're headed for the stores in Concord! The regulars are on the road tonight! Summon the militia! The lobsterbacks are heading for Concord! They're already on the road! What's all that shouting?
Wake up. What? Something's happening. There's a rider down the Buckland shouting loud enough to wake everybody up.
Grenadiers and light infantry, most likely.
Are you sure?
We didn't wait around to see, but there's no doubt about it at all. They crossed the Charles River and formed up on the Menotomy Road when we lit out. There was 4 of us. One took off for Medford, one for Brookline, and another one went down to Watertown. But no matter which road those lobsterbacks take, you can be sure they're headed for the stores of powder and shot in Concord.
How many soldiers are there? But we have to know.
Let go of my bridle, Mr. I have to get on.
We want to know how many soldiers there are.
1,000 at least. They had a line of boats stretching across the Charles, and every boat was packed full of redcoats. Now get out of my way. You're not the only one who's got to be waked up this night.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Anybody who knows the British Army knows they don't march at night. Why should they?
If they're truly marching this way at this hour, it's to take us by surprise at Concord.
Well, what kind of surprise when it's got to be dawn before they get halfway there?
Well, the man who just rode through here wasn't drunk, as far as I could tell. And he has no reason to ride out here in the middle of the night just to tell us a lie.
I'm going to call out the militia to sign a muster book, Reverend. Do we get the bell?
Now, wait just a minute.
Let's suppose there's an army of 1,000 men headed this way. The muster roll of our militia only adds up to 79 men.
What's your point?
What are you going to do with 79 men facing 1,000 is my point.
We don't know how many there are. We don't know for certain there are any, but if there were only one of us, the principle would be the same.
What do you say, Reverend? Do we get the belt?
Toll the bell. Summon the militia.
Okay, let's go right into it. There were two kinds of soldiers in the American Army. The first one was the militia, and we talked about how citizens, you kind of put down your pitchfork and pick up a gun and kind of go at it. These were people who lived in the community. They were very similar to Army reservists today. The Continental Army was the nation's first real army, and it is the one that George Washington ran. Okay. Who joined the Continental Army? Farmers and tradesmen and preachers and even slaves. How many soldiers were there in the Continental Army? About 150,000, but it was never the same amount. The largest at any one time was 17,000. Recruitment was an issue, a big issue. Soldiers ranged from young men to old men, young boys to old men, averaging 18 to 24. Many different kinds of jobs. Soldiers were paid, as you can see. For a little extra credit, if you wanted to find out how much those amounts translate to today, I'll give you extra credit for that. The official color was brown. Other colors were blue and gray. Weapons and gear, the musket, not very accurate. We'll talk about that on Monday. There's some pictures of them. Medicine and disease. Disease was a big problem. Disease was the biggest killer, the chief killer in the American Revolution. We'll talk about why on Monday as well. That's how much they would get in regards to food. Hardtack was like a dried dog biscuit. Molly Pitcher was somebody that we talked about in the study guide yesterday. Prisoners of war, both treated very, very badly. The British were brutal when it came to American Revolution POWs. As we go through these, as I'm sliding through these, we'll talk a little bit more in detail on Monday. I want you to get the basics here. And again, stop it whenever you want to. I'm about to run out of time. Let's use this kind of as an e-learning day. If you have any questions, please email me. I'll have my phone available. I'll have my email available up until about, I would say, 1:30, 2 o'clock on today, Friday. My email address is kevinre@ohusc.k12.in.us. When you're done with this, you'll need to turn it in, do the study guide, finish the study guide, and then you will also have this on your Google Classroom. Take a look at this, and in the last 5 or 10 minutes, the substitute teacher knows that you're going to be allowed to be in groups to organize and start talking about this, but not until about the last 5 minutes of class. Have a good day.